Good day everyone. I am Raymer Pokinmandaras BSID 3F. So in this video, I'll be demonstrating how to set up the layout diagram, and then I'll be showing you how to do the static routing configuration. So this is the layout of for our course output. This is already given. This So we need the three routers and then the six PC. So for the router, we're going to use the 18. So for the router, we're going to use the 1841 router. We are going to put three. We are going to put three router for this. So here we can rename this one. We can rename this as the R1 as router 1, route 2 for R2 for router 2, and then R3 for router 3 for us to make our task or flow more smoothly and easily for us to distinguish to distinguish. Let's just adjust this one. And for our next is let's let's add the 6 PC. The PC1, PC2, let's check the PC1, here, and then here, then PC2, PC4, PC5, PC6. Let's see if it did right. Okay. Okay. Let's just adjust it. Okay. Let's change the name here. So let's change their name according to the diagram that we have. So here the PC6, PC6, this one PC5, PC5, PC, PC4 and PC1, PC1, Wait. PC. This is PC2. PC3. Wait. So where's the PC4? PC4. PC4. So here. PC1. PC. PC3. PC3. So here. PC2. And then PC1. So for the next, I think that for our next is to add label for the host numbers. Then under PC6 is 900 hosts. 900 hosts. For PC3, 50 hosts. Hosts. So for our PC1, 765 hosts. 765 hosts. So for PC4, 150 hosts. For our PC2, 350 hosts. 350 hosts. So for our PC6 or PC5, 151. 125 hosts. Then let's adjust. Let me see. Okay, let's adjust and align everything. So here. So after this, for the connection, so after we align, for the connection, the PC for the router is we're going to use the crossover cup. So here we're going to PC2 to router 1 and the PC5 to router 1, like this. Based on this, we're going to connect the PC2 to router 1 using the fast Ethernet 0, and then the PC5 connecting to router 1 using the fast Ethernet 1. Like that. Then 0. And for the next one is the PC5 connecting to router 1 using fast Ethernet 1. So for the next, oh sorry. So for the next thing that we're going to do is also connect the PC6 to router 3 using fast Ethernet 0. Okay. And that, let me just 0. Let's check. Then for PC3, connect to router 3 using fast Ethernet 1. So let's check for the PC1. For the PC1, we're going to connect to the router 3 using the fast Ethernet 0. PC1 using 0. Then same on the PC4 using the fast Ethernet 1. So wait, let me just so for the next thing, we're going to connect the router using the then let's just click the router and then turn it off to prevent the electrical issues. And then using the wick 2T, then put it on the slot. And now we have our wick and then turn it on. Same with all the other router. Let's turn it off and then drag and drop to the on this one and then on. And then for the last one, let's off and then drag and drop and then turn it on. So next is for the connection. So let's connect the routers based on the diagram on the router 2 connecting to router 1 using the serial DCE. Let's see. Okay, this one, serial DCE. So for this one, and then let's see what serial 0 2 router 1. And then for the route for the router 1 connecting to route so for router 1 to router 3 connecting the DCE serial 1. DCE serial 1. Let's choose. And then for us to connect the router 3 to router 3 to router 2, let's check the diagram. This one, the DCE 0 to router 2. DCE serial 0. Oh. So that we are done connecting our routers, let's now let's now connect the IP configuration. So to do that, let's go to PC1 and configuration. So to do that, let's go to desktop and IP configuration. So for here, we are done on this. We are going to use the addressing scheme to determine the IP address for each router and PC. And here on the table, there is IP address, subnet mask, and then the default gateway. For the PC1, we are using this. Wait, so for me to easily identify. So for the IP address, of PC1, it is 192.168.7.154. Oh, let's copy this IP address and then enter. And then if you can see, the default subnet mask is 255.255.252. Wait. Should be 254. Then this one, then enter. So for the subnet mask, it's 255.0. So let's change the default gateway, which is the 192.168.4.1. Let's copy and let's put here. Then, okay, we're done. Let's go for the PC2 IP configuration. Then for the PC2, with the PC2 192 with that 168 that 9.50 254. For the subnet mask 255.255.254.0. For okay, for the default gateway it is 192.168.8.1. So we're done. Let's go for the PC3. IP configuration. Then the PC3 has an IP address of 192.168.11.190. For the subnet mask 255.255.255.192. The default gateway is 192.168.11.129. So we're done. For the next one is the PC4 IP configuration, and then let's check for the PC4 has an IP address of 192.168.10.254. For the subnet mask 255.255.255.0. Okay. For the default gateway 192.168.10.1. Okay. For the PC5 and desktop IP configuration. So for the PC5, it has an IP address of 192.168.11.126. And then for the subnet mask 255.255.128. For the default gateway 192.168.11.1. Let me check. So okay, for the next one is the PC6. For PC6, for the IP configuration of PC6, it is 192.168.3.254. So for the subnet mask 255.255.252, and for the default gateway is 192.168.0.1. So now that we're done on the IP configuration for each PC, is let's configure every router. Let's go for the router 1. Let's go for the command line. Enter, just enter, and then type no. So for the next one is let's type router. Sorry. Let's type wait, let me just use my CLI command here. So this will help me to do the command, the CLI. Let's type enable, and then configure terminal, enter. For the host name is R1 for the router one, and then for the password, let's type enable secret, then plus. And for the next one is no IP domain lookup, then enter, then banner MOTD. This is for the message. Then unauthorized access is strictly prohibited. This is the message, prohibited. Then wait, let's just let's banner, let's repeat MOTT, then unauthorized and authorized access is prohibited, is strictly prohibited. Then for the next one is line console. Line console 0, and then for the password, let's type Cisco, Then is for the login, step login. Then next one is line VTY 04. Oh, then password is password is Cisco. Then login. Excuse. Then for the next one is to connect the interface on the router. Like for this one, let's connect the interface on the router 1. Like here, the fast Ethernet 0, fast Ethernet 1, serial 0, and then the serial 1. Then for then let's type interface and 0, and then IP address. For the IP address, let's use the addressing scheme, which is here, already here, 192.168.8.1. And then for the wait, oh sorry, I forgot the subnet mask. So R1 configure if type IP address is 192.168.8.1, and then for the subnet mask is 255.255.254.0. Then enter. So and then just type no shutdown for the connection to be up. Then no shutdown. Let's choose. Then let's why there's an error. Pause. Cisco login interface. Then no shutdown. Okay, there we the connection status is already on. So let's click again, then interface port, fast Ethernet 1. So let's just then here as Ethernet 1, and then fast Ethernet 1, and then for the IP address is 192.168.11.1. So for the subnet mask is 255.255.128, and then let's type again no shutdown. Then for the next configuration, for the next configuration is the serial 0. Let's type interface serial 0. Where is 0? Serial 0. Then enter, then type the IP address. IP address 192.168.11.194, and the subnet mask is 255.255.255.252, and no shutdown. Then oh, okay. Wait. 0, no shutdown. And then for the next one is to interface. Type interface serial 0. IP address 1 52, then Then type clock rate. Clock rate 9600, and then type no shut down. So then exit. So for just copy this one. Then for the next one is for the then enter, then type again the IP route for this one, and then paste. So let's go back for our topology. Okay. So next one is if for this one, wait, not yet done. Then again, for the configuration, for the router 1 configuration, let's add is 1. Then enter, and for the last one is and then for the router 2, let's just click it. For the router 2, same process on the router 2 to on the router 1 to router 2. Just router and then Anyphone. Configure terminal. And then host name is router 2, which is R2. Then enable secret class. Then no IP domain lookup. For the banner or the message, type banner MOTT, then unauthorized. Authorized access is strictly prohibited. Then line console 0. Then password is Cisco. Then login line VTY 0 and 4. Then for the password is Cisco and then login. So for the interface, so to configure the configure line for the interface, let's type interface fast Ethernet 0 and 0, and then for the address, then no shutdown. For the interface 1, then enter for the IP address, paste, so and then type no shutdown. And then for the next one is the serial 0. Then for the IP address, then clock rate, just type clock rate 9,600, then no shutdown. For the serial 1, serial 1, then for the IP address, this one, then type no shutdown. So as you can see, the Pero the state is already changed to. Where am I? Wait lang. Then next one is for this, the IP route. Then next one is then oops. Now that we already done on configuring the router 2, let's go for the router 3. Same process. The password, and then type enable and configure terminal. Hostname router 3, then enable secret class, no IP domain, lookup, and then for the banner or the message, type unauthorized access is strictly prohibited. And then next one is line console 0, and then password is Cisco, then login, line VDY04, then password Cisco, then login, and then we're done for the security. Let's now go for the interface. Interface 0 for the internet, 0. Then for the IP address, and then no shutdown. And then for the interface 1, oh sorry, for the interface fuzzy ethernet 1, it's the IP configuration, the IP address, and then no shutdown. Then for the interface of serial 0, then for the IP address, then no shutdown. And then for the serial 1, interface serial 1, the IP address, for the, and then type no shutdown. And then exit, and then let's go back to the IP route. Then enter. Then for the next one, for the IP route, then enter. Then for the next one, for the next one, and then enter. then that's it. We already configured the router 1, router 2, and then the router 3. Then let's try to try the simulation. Wait. Then edit filter. Then let's just select the ICMP for our simulation. Let's try for the to communicate from PC1 PC1 to PC4, PC2 to PC5, PC3 to PC6. So, and then let's try another connection like PC1 to PC2, then PC2 to PC3, then PC4 to PC5, and then PC5 to PC6. So let's now simulate. Mm. So at below you can see the status of the messages for the PC1 and PC4. It's already successful. PC2 and PC5 to PC5 is successful, and here the PC3 and PC5 is successful already, and so on and so forth. So thank you guys for watching, and see you again next meeting. Thank you.